Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about hotkeys for AoE4. We're going to talk about my own specific hotkeys that I use in my games that you guys are seeing on stream. We're going to be talking about how you can make small optimizations for your own hotkey setup and then use that in game and fights and when you select buildings and all of that. So I hope you enjoy this video and find it useful. Let's get into it. We're going to start off by taking a look at the building selection. So for building selection, I have my primary keys set as F1 through 5. These are for selecting all of the different types of buildings. So F1 through 4 is select all military units, buildings, eco buildings, tech buildings, landmarks, town centers, so on. The next one is F5, which I use for monasteries. And so I can cycle through all of my monasteries if I want to do that. Basically, F1 I can use to select a one-way rally point. So F1, I just right click and then I have an immediate rally point instead of having to select each of them. This is really a quick way to make it so that all your units come and go to one place, or quickly just changing your rally points. F2, I just use tab, and then I can find all the upgrades that I need. F3 for technologies, so if I quickly want to get a blacksmith upgrade, press F3, and then S for +1 ranged armor. F4 is pretty much just going to be for selecting landmarks and the main TC, though I do use another key for the main TC, which we're going to be coming through now. So for selecting individual types of buildings, what I do is I have a preset key, which is number 5 for town centers. So I automatically select my town center just by clicking number 5 without having to bind them. So these are all pre-bound. Select barracks, select archer ranges, stables, workshops is 6 through 9. For the number 0, I use Marcus. So this way I don't have to select any of my military buildings and keybind them myself. All I can do is I can maybe make a rally point like this with F1, right click. Then I can press 5 and then the town center is selected. 6 selects my barracks, 7 for archer ranges, 8 for stables, and then 9 for workshops. 0 is going to be for market, where I can then quickly make trades and then go back, make villages, jump into my control groups for my units here. And then this is going to be the way that I quickly access different types of buildings without having to go and find them myself. We're now going to run through the unit selection. Basically, for unit selection, the first key that I have specifically made for myself is using the 2 side keys on my mouse. So I use a Razor Death Adder. I have 2 keys here on the side, as you can see, mouse 4 and 5. I use these keys to focus on units that I've selected. So I have mouse 4 for focus on selected units. Keep in mind, you can just select any other key for this. You don't have to use a specific one for the mouse. So basically what I do is I can have a scout. Let's say I have a scout here. And then I have a key for my scout, which is on my side of my mouse. And then I can just use the other key and quickly focus. The same goes for all of the other different types of selectable things in the game. So archers, knights, scouts. This is pretty cool if you have a lot of scouts, because then you can just quickly switch between them and then focus on them. The next key that I have is cycle through idle economic units. What this does is if I click this key, which is right above tab on my keyboard, I can then quickly jump to the idle villages that I have. It's not a select all idle villages, it just cycles through them. So if I have an idle villager here, I can then quickly click on them and it'll center my camera. About centering camera automatically, I'm going to get to that later. But basically, this selects and cycles through the different villages that I have idle. So whenever I see this key here, I don't have to click it. I just click this one and I'll quickly get to the idle villages. The next one is pretty interesting. Basically, a lot of people talk about how selecting all military units is bad, or you have to use idle military units instead. I use both of them. So I have select all military units for when I need to select all my military units and direct them back. Let's say all of a sudden I have to pull all my units back to my base. The next one is select all idle military units. So basically just use this whenever you can. You use this one to avoid pulling scouts in positions that you don't want to pull them from, or any other type of misplace that can happen by selecting units you don't want to select. The next one is select all naval military units, basically right above the 2 other keys, so Z, A, and Q. These are all of my select military units keys that are very close to each other. The next one is cycle through scouts, which is on my mouse on the side, like I showed you before. And the next one after that is selecting all individual religious units. So if you are an HRE player, what you can do is you can have the different prelates just before you age up to castle out on different relics. Then you press caps lock like I do here, and then select each, so you cycle through each individual religious unit. Then you press focus with the mouse button on the side, and then you just jump to each of the relics, right click on the minimap on your base, and then they all go back to your base pretty quickly. The last one here is cycle through villages gathering food, wood, gold, and stone. I use Control F, W, G, and S for this. So I use the first letter for each of the resources, so G for gold, W for wood, so on and so forth. Basically, when I have a villager that I would like to pull, so let's say I have a wood villager here, I can quickly click Control W and I'll get to the villager. Let's say I want to build a quick house because I'm getting housed. Control W, QQ, and then I have a house being built like this. Let's say I want a food villager to go and build a barracks. Okay, I'll just go like this. So I just press Control F, Q, S. So the hotkeys for the building combined with the selection of the resource gathering villager, and then they just immediately go and build. It's a very quick access way to get your villagers to build stuff for you instead of having to click on them, then click on the building and then go like this instead. When it comes to the game hotkeys, so the section here, I don't have any changes specifically here, but I would like to point these ones out. Basically, cancel last item in production queue and cancel all items. B and N should be the standard keys as far as I remember. Basically, I can have lots of spearmen being produced here, but all of a sudden I need to make man-at-arms instead. I can then go press N, delete all the currently spearmen in queue, then just press W and then queue them. But I can also just delete individual ones here if I want to save some food, for example, and start building some arbaletiers instead. Go back. Oh, I don't need those instead. I needed archers and then an upgrade. But the upgrade is too far out. Okay, I'll just delete them. Get the upgrade like this. This is a very quick way to quickly micromanage all of these different specific units in the buildings that are currently in queue. So you don't have to go and then click these guys off. Instead, if you have way too many villages being built right now, you can just press B a couple of times and then delete them. When you open up your settings tab, what you're going to find is the first tab here is called controls. Controls I have changed in this manner. So basically, idle villagers is select and center camera. Idle military is select and center camera. Center camera is good, so you just have to press the button for selecting idle villagers once and it'll jump to them immediately. You can also just make this select only and then click the focus key and then it'll jump straight to them. That's fine. The next one is military. That's fine as well. Select and center camera. I only have select only for the find and cycle units and buildings because I don't want to be clicking my barracks and then it jumps straight to the barracks if I just need to queue some more units while I'm microing a fight. So I could be fighting somewhere and basically, let's say I have some units here. I just quickly click my barracks and I queue a couple more units and then I'm still in the fight like this. Queue some more villages whilst I'm here and then we go like this. I want to get some more units to the front and I'm only fighting one spot. I use my select all army key and I get all my units that are currently coming to come with me. Use the rally point as well. And now everything is in order for the fight that's going on right here. Very cool. See our enemies coming here with a couple of units. Let's micro this. Get the other units that we've queued to come and help. Back a little bit. And then keep fighting. Keep queuing new units. Like this. And then we can micro bit. Quickly add these guys to the control group here by using the shift key. Quickly make new control groups by using control 1. And now our control group should be able to quickly be accessed. Oh, I accidentally put these on key 5, so I just control 5 to delete them back to my town center like that. So you can see I'm never exiting the fight. Constantly producing units and microing without having to go back. It's a very, very easy way to quickly access your units. Now I need to go take this guy out. I just use all my military to go there. Especially the knights here. They chase it down. And now we're pushing. So we're in a good spot here. New rally point for our units. Select all military. Let's go forward. And now basically we have macroed and microed our way out of this. Basically just constantly producing units. Oh, we need to build a house. Okay, we have a couple of idle villages as well. Let's put those to work like that. And now back to the fight. We keep going forward. And this is basically how you use the different keys. We need another upgrade. We have a keep here. Let's go build a workshop like that. And then back to the fight. So this is how you use the keys. It's very quick here, but basically this is how it's supposed to look. When it comes to hotkeys for my control groups, basically how my control groups are set up when it comes to my military, I have infantry melee on the control group 1 here. This gives me easy access to my infantry units. For ranged units, I use key number 2. So I just select all my units here. Then I press Shift 2 or Control Group 2 to create a new control group. And then I have these two control groups together. So I can just quickly move these guys. Keep in mind, most units have different movement speeds. So a cavalry unit is going to be faster than a spearman. So it's a good idea to not have them in the same control group, as the cavalry unit will slow down to the spears unit movement speed. For number 3, I use scouts. So when I open up in a game, I have scouts on my keybind number 3. If I have multiple scouts, I use 2 and 4 as if I'm playing Rus. So I can move the scout around freely and then not be bothered by the control groups of the other military units. Though this doesn't change later on. For cavalry, you guessed it, it's key number 4. I use key number 4 for my cavalry units. Sometimes if I have multiple scouts, let's say the scout down here is going to be with my cavalry unit because I'm raiding. These guys go together, and then I just include them in the cavalry slash raiding group. And these guys go together. Scout provides a bit of extra vision, so I'm not running into spears or something. Or I use the scout if I want to scout around a wood line like this, and then have a look before I go in and try to do some damage. Later on, this changes. Infantry melee and cavalry units go together. This is not, you know, a set in stone rule for when I reach Castle Age or Imperial. This changes based on games, but basically I want to keep my melee units together and my range units together. So these guys go to the same control group. This is if I have a lot of siege, for example. Then I have all my range units together. And then for siege units, basically I have mangonels on key number 3. And anti-siege units, so culverins and springles, on key number 4. Sometimes what happens is, if you want to go to the front and then all of a sudden the enemy comes rushing at you and you want to go back, these guys are going to put all the siege units in the back. And so what you want to do is, you want to maybe keep your units here whilst you move the siege units into the back here. So you want to keep these guys divided and not in the same control groups. If you want to move everything at once, just press select all military and then move them all together. But it's still going to create the issue of these units, all the other units slowing down to the slowest movement speed of a unit in the control group. So watch out for that. And there you have it. That is the hotkey guide. And if you have any questions about the hotkeys that I use or possible optimizations for your own hotkey layout, ask them down in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them. If not, I'll see you guys in the next one. Check out the description. There are some links there to the ages that you can use to get better at hotkeys. The Twitch, of course, where you can check out my live stream. And yeah, go check out the other build orders and strategy guides on my YouTube channel. See you in the next one.